Hello everyone. In this video, we will be solving quadratic equation by completing the square, and this is the second part. In this part, the value for b is odd. So let's take this first example right here. Solve for x squared plus 5x minus 2 equals 0. So the first step that we're going to do here is to isolate the constant by adding 2 to both sides. So plus 2 and plus 2. So this would come out. So we can cross this out. We are left with x squared plus 5x is equal to 2. So then we go ahead and make this side into a perfect square trinomial by completing the square. So what are we going to do is we are going to add blanks to both sides. So I'm just going to rewrite this. So this would come out x squared plus 5x plus blank equals 2 plus blank. So what do we put inside this blank? We are supposed to use the value for b. So what are we going to do with the b is that whatever this value is, we're going to divide this by 2. So I'm going to show the work down here. Divide this again, b by 2. So dividing this by 2, this would come out, that's going to be 5 over 2. So we keep that since 2 doesn't go to 5. So after we divided 2 to whatever the value of b is, we are going to square this value. So we are going to square it. So we got 5 over 2, so that would be 5 over 2, and then we are going to square it. So when we square this, both the numerator and the denominator should be squared. So this would come out, 5 squared is 25, and then 2 squared is 4. So this is the value that we put into the blanks that we got on this step right here. So we're going to put that in here and put that at the same time on the right side as well to make them even. So this would be 25 over 4. And this one right here would also be added by 25 over 4. So then we can go ahead and simplify this equation that we have right here. So there is a trick on how we can simplify this. So first, this one is already a perfect square trinomial. So what are we going to do here is that we write x, and then whatever is the one that we squared, this part right here. So this part is going to go pair up with the x. In this case right here, we got a positive 5 over 2. So we are going to add 5 over 2 here. So that's going to be plus 5 over 2. And so we are going to square it. So if we use the area model for this, we are going to get this value up here. So again, but the trick is we just use this, whatever the value that you squared, that's the one that we put to pair up with the x, so that we can go ahead and simplify the right side right here. So we got a 2 plus 25 over 4. Since their denominators are not the same, we can multiply a giant 1 on the first one right here with 4 over 4 to make their denominators the same, so that I can go ahead and write the solution up here. So I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite this. Okay, so what I did was I multiplied 2 times 4 is 8, and we got a denominator of 4. So you can see here their denominators are the same already, so that we can go ahead and rewrite this as. So their denominators are the same, so we put 4 at the bottom, and then we write 8 plus 25. Or you can just go ahead and add the 8 and 25, so that this would come out. So then we go ahead and solve for x. So that's what we're looking for, solve for x. Since this is a squared, we are going to square root both sides so that we can do the squared. So we square root this side and we square root the other side as well. So the square root and the squared is going to get crossed out. But please remember that when we square root this side, it's going to come out 2 answers, both positive and negative. So then we can go ahead and rewrite this as Okay, since we want to isolate x by itself, so then we are going to subtract 5 over 2 from both sides, so minus 5 over 2, and then we subtract this with 5 over 2, so that's minus 5 over 2 right here, so that we can cross this out. So we are left with, that's gonna be x is equal to plus minus square root of 33 over 2, and that is a minus 5 over 2. So that we have actually two solutions for this. So I'm just gonna show the work on the side right here. So first we got the one with a positive. So the first x here is, again, this means that there are two solutions. So we take the positive first. So that would be x is equal to positive square root of, that's gonna be square root of 33 over 2 minus, that's gonna be 5 over 2. We can actually simplify this as, that's gonna be x is equal to, since they both have the same denominator of 2, so I can write 2 at the bottom, so that would be square root of 33 minus 5. So this is the solution or for the equation we have right here. So that's the first solution when we use the positive. Now let's have the one with a negative, because again, remember, that's both positive and negative. So with the negative, I'm just going to show the work on the side here. So that would be x is equal to, that's going to be negative square root of 33 over 2 minus 5 over 2. Again, our denominators are the same for both of them, so we can just go ahead and write 2 here. So that's a negative square root of 33 minus 5. So this is the other solution for this equation that we have right here. So this equation will have this 2 as its solution. Please notice that we have a square root of 33 over 4. So what happened was I got the square root of 4. That's how it came out to be 2 down here. So again, that is square root of 33 over square root of 4. We can actually square root both the numerator and the denominator, and that's how I got, because others are going to say like, how did you get square root of 33 over 2 here when it was 4 up here? So I square rooted the 4. That's how we got the 2 there. At this time, I would encourage you to pause this video and try this problem out on your own. And when you're done, unpause it and check your answer. Okay, so we go over the problem here. Again, we are going to isolate the 5. So I'm just going to subtract 5 from both sides and then minus 5. So we can cross the 5 out. So we are left with x squared minus 9x is equal to negative 5. And then we are going to add blanks to both sides so that we can come up with a perfect square trinomial by completing the square. So that would be, okay, so the one that we put into the blank would be this b value, which is negative 9. So the process here is that we are going to divide this by 2. Whatever the quotient is, we are going to square it, and we fill whatever's the value is to these two blanks. So I'm going to show the work down here. Okay, so I already created a perfect square trinomial for this. So what I did was I completed the square so I can come up with a perfect square trinomial. So then I can go ahead and write x, and then we remember that whatever is this part right here, the one that we squared is the one that we pair up with the x. So that would be x minus 9 over 2. And then that's a squared, and that is equal to, we got a negative 5 plus, that's 81 over 4. Now, since this fraction that we have here, they don't have the same denominator, so we're going to multiply this by, that's going to be 4 over 4. So then we can go ahead and simplify this up here. Okay, so what I did was I added both the negative 20 and 81 here, and I got 61. And so that is the equation that we got at this time. So what are we going to do is, since we want to solve for x here, so we're going to square root both sides. So the antidote for squared is square root. So I'm going to square root both of these so we can cross the square root and squared. Now we remember that if we square root, there would be two solutions for this, the positive and the negative. So that we can go ahead and rewrite this as, please remember that we can simplify this. So that would be x minus 9 over 2 equals plus minus. The square root of 4 is 2. So I can just go ahead and write square root of 61 over 2. So just like the same thing that happened over here. So we have a square root of 33 over 4. So what happened was I got the square root of 4. That's how it came out to be 2 down here. So again, that is square root of 33 over square root of 4. We can actually square root both the numerator and the denominator, and that's how I got, because others are going to say, like, how did you get square root of 33 over 2 here when it was 4 up here? So I square rooted the 4. That's how we got the 2 there. So the same thing for this one right here. We got square root of 61 over 2 because the 4 is actually, the square root of 4 is actually 2. So that we can go ahead and simplify this. So we want to add 9 over 2 from both sides. So plus 9 over 2 so that we can have x by itself. So we can cross this out. We are left with x is equal to plus minus square root of 61 over 2. And then that's plus 9 over 2. So that we can go ahead and come up with two solutions for this. So we can take first the positive. So that's positive first would be x is equal to positive. Since both of these have the same denominator, so we can take their denominator. So I'll just show the work up here. So that would be square root of 61 over 2 plus 9 over 2. So they have common denominator. So that would be 2, and then square root of 61 plus 9. So we can keep it like that. So that's our first x. So we can put this inside the box. So that's the first solution. The second solution would come from the negative. So that's negative right here. So x is equal to, that would be negative square root of 61 over 2 plus 9 over 2. So then their denominators are the same. I can write 2 down here. And so that is negative 61 plus the square root of negative 61 plus 9. And so this is the other solution. So if we plug this two x values back into this equation right here, it will come out 0. That means these two are the solutions to this equation that we have right here. Did you get the same answers as this? Good. Perfect. If you find this video helpful, hit like and subscribe for more math videos. See ya!